The year 2020. When I woke up one day, I just like, it's darkness. I don't see anything. I'm like, about maybe ni giza usiku. Trying to go like where the lights are. I put on the lights. I realized even I'm going to a wrong direction. I was like, huh? My eyes, what's happening?
And so she packed and left. How long after the accident?
It was 2 months.
What? You're telling me the accident happens?
Yes.
You lose your job?
Yes.
Then you lose your wife? Yeah. Then you lose your sight?
Yes, right. Now,
in a span of...
In fact, in a span of 6 months.
Everything just goes.
Even friends. The friends that you call, this is my buddy. Like you could see, this is Yvonne calling me. Hey, hi Yvonne, hey, what's up? All of them vanished.
After getting involved in a road accident in 2018, our next guest decided not to give up. He lost everything, starting from his job, then his family, and his sight. But this man chose not to give up. And today, the man who calls himself a tough cookie, mtu mwenye ngozi ngumu kama ya mamba, tells us why he chose not to give up and why he is choosing to encourage other people that there is indeed a light at the end of the tunnel. Welcome to today's episode of My Story. My name is Yvonne.
Tell us your name and where you come from. Who is Cosmas?
Well, thank you. My name is Cosmas Otwori Julius. Cosmas comes from Kisii County, in particular some place called Candid Otunga, Mosocho. I'm a firstborn in a family of 6. In fact, we were 4 boys and 2 girls. Unfortunately, I've lost 2 brothers, so we are 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I've got both parents, both of them are alive. My mom, Veronica, and the dad, Julius. Yeah, they're there.
How was life growing up with your siblings, studying and all of that?
Well, we're just born like any other kids. We thank God that we had a privilege to go to school. I did my Form 4. And then I also had a chance to go to the college. I did some business course. And then after that, I got into now the career. My career now for, as they call it today, hustling.
You worked for how long? And is this the point where you meet your significant other?
Yeah, very interesting. So I worked for about 8 years, and actually 7 years. That's when I met the one you've called, and he promised me to be there for me to be there for her. Like she could always be, giving me a shoulder to lean on whenever I need it. Yeah, and the other things happened, and then today I'm called a father of 2, a boy and a girl.
If you look back at when you met the first time you saw her, how would you describe that? How would you describe that relationship the first time you saw her?
To be very precise, the very first days I saw a lot of posterity in her. I saw a lot of hope, rather a lot of hopes in her, and I felt like I've got, one of my own, just like in the Bible, I told Adam said, when he was given Eve, she said, I've got one of my own, a rib from my, yeah, so, yeah, little did I know, yeah.
Because we're here to hear the story of what happened after your accident. Before that, the marriage was smooth and there were no hiccups and there was nothing to complain about, basically, is what you're trying to say.
To be very honest, I don't know whether today we've got a marriage that is maybe for 50 years or rather 30 years without any other shakeups. Yeah. There were shakeups, of course, but they were manageable. Because, you see, I was going to work. I could leave in the morning, come in the evening. So most of the time during the day, I'm not around. So I don't have any other reason that I could be holding that, within me for the whole day, At least I could go to work. When I come back, at least I'm eased up. Then I'm like, yeah. And at the end of the day, you see, she's, the mother to your kids.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, we must talk, Yeah, so.
So take us to the day the accident happened. What were you doing? Where were you going? What exactly happened?
It was a terrible day to me. I was working with some organization near Nairobi. You'll allow me not to mention the name, kindly. So I had gone to see the client. So my work was majorly in operations. So I'd met the client. Actually, my appointment was from 12 p.m. to 1. So I did exactly meeting with the client for one hour. That is along current areas, because I don't want to specify again because of some other reasons. So the meeting was done. So I was on my way coming back, And now, then actually remember it was 2018, October, around 7th there, at 1:37 p.m. It was just during the daytime, like just now. That's when I met the cruel accident.
Were you the one driving?
Okay, well, I was being driven. Okay. I had a friend of mine who was driving. So when we were approaching the road, because then the road was not, made the modern, or rather the current way, the current state it is today. We had only one lane going up and going down. Now, it happened that when we were coming, we were joining the road, because actually we are joining, then go to Karen. And from where the vehicle, once the vehicle turned to going to Karen, then there was another oncoming. The one who had given us a permission actually to just get access. Directly opposite, there's some petrol station. I can't also mention the name because it is a scene that. Okay, so there's a vehicle. I remember it was a TX, proud if I'm not wrong. So it was fueling. So I think the guy was also trying to calculate by the time those guys want to get to the, I could have also got access. So in between there, that's where the accident happened, because now we had to brake, try to pull reverse, but the guy who had given us way, he was almost there, because he had also done the calculation. By the time this guy's getting to the highway, could have, so it's just a matter of braking, trying to pull a reverse. This other guy, is here, he's like, oh, yeah, it was a bad one. It was a bad one, and I honestly can't remember from there what happened, but I remember when I came to my conscious, I got myself in a Coptic hospital, and I had so many pains. My right leg had some fracture. My lower back, 3 discs had a problem, and then the neck could not hold itself in position. So therefore, I was put on a collar for some good weeks for it to, And then after there, I realized when I was in the ward, when people are coming just to visit you, then you're like, when you're they're giving you a hand, you're kind of like, you don't hold it. It is some inches away, so like, napitana. So people are like, man, you don't to say jambo to us. So I'm like, no, but I've stretched my hand. So then from there, I started experiencing some blood. You're seeing it's my seeing was very blood, like it's shaky. You could see some smoke, some little light in it. So you're like, is it maybe like I'm sleepy, or that's when I realized, hey, this thing is, there's a problem. So then I requested for some attention from the doctors who were responsible over the eyes. So when they came by my bedside, they were like, Cosmas, you need to be in theater like yesterday. So like, what is it? So like all the retinas, both eyes have detached.
Oh Lord.
If you allow me to demonstrate the retinas, you see when you fold your hand like this, the retinas are attached like this. So when you look at this point here, that's where they call it the iris. Yeah. So where the light and the other everything is seen, then it transfers the image and everything to the retina, then to the brain, of course, to be processed. But now when we say, when it's this way, it's attached. When it's detached, it's like this. So there's this space.
There's no communication.
So there's no communication at all, because this space has took like everything, because this can see, that image, but it cannot be transmitted to the rest of, the other parts of the eye, and then to the brain to be interpreted. And you see, this something that has, that was there naturally. I was born well, and then accident has happened. So that means it's supposed to be given an immediate attention.
Sure.
And when I came to realize this, trust you me guys, it was over 4 weeks, So you can imagine the damage, how much it had gone. But yeah, so because I had a lot of pain in my leg, my right leg, I could not walk literally, because the leg was so heavy. You could just feel like kama umewekewa muti kwa mguu, trying to pull, and then the back, and then I was like, yeah, because it's the right leg, it has a fracture. The lower back discs, they also have issues, and then the neck. So literally I could not walk, because it could either maybe the movement could affect the formation of of the neck, and then the leg. So I was literally on a bed rest for some period of time, and then after that I was discharged, and then booked. While in the hospital, I was booked for surgery. And I remember surgery happened 31st of that year of December 2018. So first surgery was done, and it's a practice, I'm told by medics, like if both eyes have a problem, you cannot be operated on both at once. So it's one after the other. Yeah, I can tell you, it was a bad experience. It was a very painful experience. I was at, when I feel like now I'm in my career, I'm like, trying to, I'm energetic, but all of a sudden my sight is compromised. So many things were running in my mind, and I could not get answers. And let me tell one thing, Yvonne, when you're unwell, that's the time you want to know, like, or your real friends, or the relatives, people of goodwill, or your enemies. Sorry, I was so friendly to people, but that's the time I realized that I had so many enemies than friends.
And how is this affecting you, even mentally? And because you keep telling me that your brother is the one who's taking you to the hospital. Where is your wife at this point? It's
a sad segment. You ladies, you're so good. Yvonne, you're so good. But when the worst happens, that's when you feel like, oh no, yeah. So I think she gave up. I don't know whether it was so timely to her. For her, like, it's a time that I need to pack and go. But just to answer your question, she was nowhere at that time.
Cosmas, you've been married for how long? At that point, you had been married for how
long? 6 years.
For 6 years?
Yes.
And at that point, you had the 2 children, you mentioned?
Yeah, the boy was the first one, and then the girl was about, was it 2? She was heading 2 years. Yes. And
so she packed and left how long after the accident?
Actually, after the accident, it was 2 months.
What?
Within these 2 months, actually funny things happened. Where I was working, I remember the sad thing happened. I was terminated on medical grounds. Like, they don't need my services anymore. And then you can imagine an HR writes a letter like, it doesn't need your services anymore. Then some line down there tells you, then wish you quick recovery. It was so ridiculous. But So I lost my wife. Okay, my wife left with my kids. You know, I miss that boy and that girl so very much. So when I remember such, you know, yeah, and then now the job like came to an end. It's gone. Then I'm like, I don't have any other saving at the moment. I've depleted myself completely. I'm the firstborn in my family.
Yeah.
I was actually supporting my parents because none of them were in employment to help my younger siblings get the best quality of education. I'm one of the guy. I mean, I didn't do a degree, but I got some, you know, diploma course, and I thought like my siblings must go beyond me.
Sure.
When the accident was happening, my younger brother, who is the late who passed on last year, was in corporate university. He was pursuing his IT course, but unfortunate what happened. I lost him last year before the elections. Actually, he was stabbed.
What?
Yeah, he was a fourth-year student then. Actually, he was doing his ICT course. That's when he was completing it. Yeah, it was my brother
Who stood by you?
who used to take care of me.
Did you argue with your wife? Did she tell you she was leaving? What were the circumstances under which she left?
One is, I think my termination came first,
Okay.
and then she left. You know, when she saw the termination, what the letter was saying, and then she was like, man, you know, nothing is forthcoming. And I'm a man who was very much committed in my family. I'd invested a lot of time and every other thing, you know. She felt like it was not the right thing maybe for her to stay with me during that time. So she left. And trust you me, she left. Like, I tried to call her so many times, she could not pick my calls. So what I said, I wanna call my parent-in-laws, get to know what exactly happened, because, you know, and trust you me, none of them could pick my calls.
After 6 years.
Yes. These are parents who could call me my son, my son, my son. But they did not. I had an option. What I had to do, the first thing I called my parents, actually called my mom. You know, I shared with her the story, and then she was like, I had my mom crying. I told her, Mama, it's okay. Where's Dad? Like, you know, my dad was around to come and receive, you know, talk to Cosmas. So I spoke to my dad and told him that the worst has happened, and yeah, I'm left in the desert. You know, to make you understand Yvonne, actually, she carried literally like everything in the house. I was staying in a one-bedroom house. What she left me with in that house was my clothes, my shoes, and my my documents. So that's how it happened. Treatment after treatment. You know, I changed several medication and several doctors, consultants. I did a lot of consultancy in different doctors. But the worst happened the year 2020. When I woke up one day, I just, like, it's darkness. I don't see anything. I'm like, bado maybe ni giza usiku. Trying to go like where the lights are. I put on the lights. I realized even I'm going to a wrong direction. So I'm like, God, what's happening? You know, I was like, huh? My eyes, what's happening? Trying, like, nothing. It was total darkness.
At that time you were by yourself?
Yeah, but then I was myself. Because my brother was a student. You could like go for classes and then comes back in the evening. At times you could go, maybe like he's got, you know, classes mefuatana. So like he's not coming today and tomorrow. That time I saw life was meaningless. I saw like had no reason to live. So there, I remember una feel tu nyumba. You know, the house now, it doesn't have a lot of things in the house. Nikutembea unafika kwa mlango, like my neighbor, I remember I had some Uganda lady who was a neighbor. I was like, jirani, saizi ni saa ngapi? Ambia saizi like it was 8 in the morning, so there's a law. Yeah. Like I don't see anything. Atukwa uoni, like I don't see. Like you're looking at me, so you don't see. Like I don't see. I remember there I had to call, like she helped me call my dad. Told me, Dad, there was a serpent I don't see. What I heard my dad saying, he was like, oh my God. He said in mother tongue.
You're telling me the accident happens.
Yes.
You lose your job.
Yes.
Then you lose your wife. Then you lose your sight.
Now,
I mean, in a span of...
In fact, in a span of 6 months.
Everything just goes.
Even friends. You know, the friends that you call, this is my buddy. Like you could see, this is Yvonne calling me. Hey, hi Yvonne, hey, what's up? All of them vanished. In fact, I remember because I was in operations and my organization then had about 5 branches in Nairobi. Like I could have a contact of at least every person in the branch for those people. I mean, in the kind of organization, those who are working in operations, because there's an aspect of, you know, coordination. So all of them.
Nobody stood for you. Did you ever get to talk to her after? Like, ever met her, ever seen your children after? In
fact, she worked very hard to make sure that communication is, you know, is cut. I remember after searching her for about 3 weeks, she came to pick my calls when my daughter was unwell. I really loved my daughter so much. She was like, of course, I loved both my kids, but you know, when mademu wanaokanga ni wa daddy, you know. So this girl got unwell, and she got unwell, so she needed my card. Mtoto enda wapi? OC. So then I was like, now you can afford to pick my calls. You know, she's not even habari yako, unaendeleaje, nothing like that. She was like, naomba nisaidie kadi, mtoto ni mgonjwa. So I was like, mtoto ni mgonjwa aje, wapi? Where's the kid? So like, how do you want to, I mean, tell me how you get the card. Yeah, so I told her, mtuko hospitali, we used to take the kid, then we'll meet over there. So I went with my brother, then we got the lady there. So she's holding the baby. Can you trust me? Mtoto was very dull, but when she saw me, then you could think I'm the one who came with the healing. So like, oh, you know.
She was so happy to see you.
Yeah. Mtoto tu anakuona, and then she started crying. Then you could talk, no, baby, it's okay, mama. Then she's quiet. Tulikuwa kwa hospital for about an hour. All those, you know, hiyo time yote, I was the one who's carrying the kid. She could try to stretch over the kid. The kid doesn't want. So I told her, I asked her, like, why do you deny the kid the father? I mean, why do you want my kids to grow like, I mean, just like the orphans? But because we're in the hospital setup, I just told her, like, nothing goes on forever. You went because you felt I'm not jobless. I don't have anything. You felt that was the right time for you to leave me. It's okay. So that's what happened. And over time, she could not call me asking me, like, unaendelea aje? If you see a call, mtoto ni mgonjwa, pesa ya sijui ya nini, you know, then I was, you know, a father figure. Ule mtu na feel mazee, you've been longing for your family. Kisikia mtoto ni mgonjwa, you're like, you have no reason to hold on over the card, so have it. In fact, I decided to give that card. The luck you have the card. So when I give the card, mtoto aliacha kugonjeka, and then sikuwa ipigiwa simu tena.
Kuna siku uliniambia kwamba there's a day you met your son, and it was an emotional meetup during your brother's burial. Tell me what happened.
After losing my brother, I remember we were in a morgue, funeral home, I remember just sat almost just close to the entrance. So like trying to, I was just crying anyway. So then I hear somebody coming and leaning on my left shoulder. Then just turning like this, could feel ni kichwa, yeah, like as in any mtoto sio mtu mkubwa. So what came to my mind was like, this is Daktari. My son, I've always called him Daktari from when he's young. So when you ask him, what is your name today? You tell him Dr. Arnold. Sorry, I've mentioned his name. He's called Dr. Arnold. So I was like, Doc, how are you? He's like, fine, Dad. It now made me so emotional, like, God, I've lost my brother. My son has been away because my brother's death has made me, for me to be closer to my boy. We traveled on Thursday, we did the burial on Friday, and then on Saturday, that's when they're traveling back to Nairobi. That moment, no, actually on Friday after the burial, because we did the burial around 3 there, 4. So there's that moment, people have gone. And you see from where I come from, when burial is done, that's when most of the relatives go. So now the immediate family, ndio wanabaki. So you could now still, you can imagine like now big is the compound. I mean, now people, that's the time I had for my son. The following day, they were traveling to Nairobi. What I did, I just took a plastic chair where I could just, because the compound, I know it, I just went and sat somewhere, and I shouted, Daktari. So he was like, yes, Dad. I told him, please come. He came and told him, Daddy, go and bring your chair. I went and I brought the chair, we sat, and then I was telling him, Daktari, I love you so much. I miss you so much. And I'll pray to God when you grow up to be a doctor. I said, that's what you told me. He was like, yes, Dad. Then I was like, I wanted to give him a moment to talk to me. My son told me, Daddy, I love you and God bless you. Utapona. I mean, that statement again gave me, I just started shedding tears. I'm like, my son, And then from there, I told God, you've heard the prayer of this young man. At your own time, ukinirudishia macho, tashukuru. But again, it's so painful for me to remain the way I am. I'm sorry to mention this. I love my dad so much, but during that time, you could not understand that my son is losing sight. The sight is gone. Because if honestly you look at me directly like this, you could see like this, mtu anaona. Yeah. So my dad was like, aelewi. But I was told like now, when it came to be realized, my dad was almost getting to depression. Because like, what is happening with my son? He's my firstborn. He's the one who's been the breadwinner in the family. Now what is happening? So that's what happened. It took me some time. I didn't accept myself immediately. So many people could call me out like, what for? Yeah, I mean, what for? And I mean, I had no reason. In fact, there's a time I just felt I developed suicidal thoughts. Yes. Like now, you see, imagine Yvonne, you've lost your job. You've lost your family. You've lost your sight. And then, like rather friends. I mean, within a span of 6 months, atakama you're strong, like what?
It's a lot.
I mean, it was heavy on me. It was just heavy on me.
Cosmas, it's good that you have not allowed these challenges to define your life. Because right now you have a company, you do a lot of work with the corporates. Tell us more about that, and how can these corporates even partner with you to give you business, to market you, to just support you to earn a living?
After losing sight, and I tried to fight with the reality that I don't have sight. I remember I was referred to some rehab school. Actually, it's called Kenya Institute for the Blind, yeah. KIB. I was there for about 1.5 years. Majorly, I did Braille in English, Kiswahili, and mathematics. I did, I've said Braille, Maths, English and Swahili. I did another unit called ADL. ADL is what we call activities of day living, whereby you see, I don't know whether I'm clean.
You are. Smart. You look very nice.
In fact, this is my weakness.
Thank
you. Yeah, so
you look very nice.
It helped me, like, how do I do the grooming? How do I clean the house? How to cook? How to iron the clothes? Like, there's nothing I can't do today. And I did another one called O and M, that is orientation and mobility. How to use the white cane, how to walk with it, because it's not just a white cane. I mean, it's not just a walking stick. It's a white cane, and it has got a very particular. There is a way how to use it, very particular. And I did another one called AICT, that is Adapted Information Computer Technology. And then we had, of course, what we call abacus. Abacus, this some small gadget, has some beads. It's now we call it calculator, yeah, VIs. So I could calculate using those beads and tell you the ukipiga yako na mimi nipiga yangu, will always get the same. Now, it's during that time I went through that program. I came like, oh, kumba, I can use my smartphone. I can use a smartphone. And my smartphone, just like any other phone, but it has some adapted features. If you allow me, I could demonstrate. Like today, I could call you. I could go to the phone, get the contacts, get the number. I select maybe I'm using line 1 or line 2 to call you. I can text you. I can transact. I can send money to you. I can do emails. I can WhatsApp you. Like, my phone tells me everything. Like today, for example, I'm alone in the house. I want you to do maybe a white shirt and some stripped sweater kind of, and then black trousers, like what I've done today. Yeah. I just go to where my clothes are. I just put on some app, called SuperSense. This SuperSense, actually we have SuperSense, we have Salvan Plus, and then we have another one called Lookout. It helps to read, for example, if you send me a letter in WhatsApp, I could read, I could share from WhatsApp via that app. Then that app, I give it the command, it opens, and then it starts reading. So my work is
to listen.
Wow. Today, Cosmas, I do emceeing. Yeah. I'm a seasonal MC.
This is good.
Yeah, I've done in corporate, and I've also got a company. I call it Coach Agencies. Coach Agencies doing supplies, and general supplies. But I also got it doing event management, and then I also have another aspect of I'm doing also corporate training, or rather coaching. You see, I'm a person living with disability today. Yeah. We need to tell the world that when a person acquires disability, does not mean that person is useless.
So how can people support your organization? How can people support you? Can they give you business? How can they get in touch with you? Where do they find you?
Well, I'm very open and very much flexible to negotiations. Yeah. One, like any organization that feel they need to embrace disability and inclusion, because actually today inclusion is a topic we cannot afford to not to talk about it. Because one thing I can tell you, Yvonne, sorry, before I answer your question, if you guys can, they say disability is a club that you don't know when you'll join it. True. So if you people, the quote unquote the normal people, cannot help us make this club better, because I know at one point in time, in life, you'll join that club. You'll join it. Trust you me, you'll join that club. So can you imagine if you've not helped me to make this club better, bearable. So when you'll be coming, how will you get to that club?
Yeah, it's going to be a mess. So guys, lights just went out as we were winding up this story, but because we love you guys so much, we thought to improvise the lights and try and make do with whatever little batteries that we have left, so that we continue with this story. So now you were at a point where you were explaining to us how people can support you in the things that you do to earn a living.
So I'm requesting like if there are people of goodwill who can help me to get a living. Of course, if I get a job, I'll appreciate.
Yeah.
But again, the corporate people, I want to be their MC, you know. This is Sauti, you know, I want to make it, you know, I'm there as a sales and a marketing personnel. I can do it better. And maybe perhaps if you guys want to call me for events, can I give my number?
Of course, you can share.
Okay, my number is very cheap, and that is an M-Pesa number.
Yes.
Make sure it starts from you. It is 0721 131 112. 0721 131 112. And maybe my email address is otworic2@gmail.com. That is OTWORIC2, that is number 2 @gmail.com.
I know there's a question that people might have in their minds, having gone through such a traumatic experience, and the person you trusted and loved the most walking out on you when you needed them the most. Do you think you'll ever fall in love again?
I've just come to agree, like, yeah, there are good people out there.
Good.
And the book is not closed yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, like, yeah, at God's appointed time, tajipa.
Tukimalizia, one message you have for your children who maybe will see this video and they've seen Daddy. What message do you have for them?
Daktari, you know, they were double A. It was Arnold and Audrey. Arnold and Audrey, I'm still your dad. I love you, good people. I miss you so dearly. I'm hoping one of these fine days you want to meet and bond. And one thing, God bless you, my kids.
To you back in the house who has heard this story and is watching Cosmas right now, and you are wondering, how do I support this man who is very ambitious, who is very determined to still earn a living, despite the fact that everything that he has gone through is challenging him to stop and give up. Yet he has not done that. Please reach out to him and support him and encourage him and give him jobs, give him all these contracts, help him get to wish to see another day with hope. Well, thank you so much to Tuko family. Thank you so much, Tuko family, for staying with us till the end of the show. I have been your host, Yvonne Kawera. And until next time, keep it Tuko.